Hello again, everyone. This is Paul from New Jersey Recovery and Wellness. Thank you so much for continuing to join us as we commemorate National Recovery Month. Each day, we've been talking about how to support a person in your life who you know and love who has a substance use disorder. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us. Check out day 20 of our 30-part series. Forgive. Forgiveness is a tricky thing in any relationship, regardless of the circumstances. It has to do with emotions and boundaries and trust, and it doesn't happen overnight. However, if we don't make an active commitment to forgive, it's going to be rather difficult to provide unconditional love and support to these people in our lives. As we've discussed earlier in this series, this is very important. So being able to forgive plays an important role as well. How do you support a person in your life who has a substance use disorder? Forgive. So I'm sure that we've all heard the expression, right? Forgive and forget. We may well want to do this, but if you've lived a little bit, I don't need to tell you that this is easier said than done. During the course of an active substance use disorder, those with the condition may do many things to impact others, specifically the people that are in their lives the most. Caring about this person means that you may have been subject to many things that you wish you didn't have to experience. This can include deception, lies and manipulation, verbal and emotional abuse, in some cases physical abuse. You may have had money or personal possessions stolen or pawned, may have had other personal boundaries violated, or felt that you've been disrespected in some way. You likely have had many emotional ups and downs among so many other personal trials. Forgiveness means forgiving it all, or you have the risk of gaining resentments. Resentments or contempt, these are relationship killers. They destroy empathy. They destroy connection. For this reason, if no other, you're going to want to avoid this. If you care for a person who has a substance use disorder, you're going to want to work towards forgiveness. There's no uniform path toward forgiveness. However, we can talk about some of the benefits here. First and foremost, forgiveness is not just for your loved one, but it's also for you. When we talk about forgiveness, we tend to focus on the other person. In these types of relationships, we're really looking at letting the other person know or letting ourselves know in our heart that we are not going to hold this over the other person. Being able to acknowledge that we still care for, love, and support these individuals in our lives, despite some of the misgivings we may have already experienced. However, and perhaps more importantly, forgiveness is also for you. Think about all of the emotions that are tied up in all of the negative experiences that you may have had, giving cause to possibly needing to forgive this individual. Your loved one is not holding on to these emotions. You are holding on to these emotions. Your loved one is not responsible for your emotions. Their behaviors may have created the situation in which these emotions came up inside of you. However, it is not them that's responsible. It is you that's responsible for your emotions and what you do with your emotions. Forgiveness is key here. Forgiveness can be freeing for the person that is holding on to these very, very intense memories. By having this freedom, we're letting the weight of these transgressions off of our shoulders. You can breathe a little bit easier. When we're not carrying this weight around, it's so much easier to provide that unwavering care and support for people who we do love and want to be in our lives, and we want to see them doing well. If we're carrying resentment or contempt, it's going to be very, very difficult to be consistent in our care and support for our loved ones, as well as it can be very easy for us to be reactive if we're still holding on to immense negativity. While you're at it and considering this road towards forgiveness, you may want to also learn how to forgive yourself. Sometimes during this process, when we are in a relationship, any form of relationship with a person who has a substance use disorder, we may find ourselves reactive to their actions during this process. This topic came up earlier in the series. If you haven't yet watched it, please do. This topic is important. When we are in a reactive space, we're likely going to be regretting things that we say or things that we do. It's sometimes common that people are going to say things that are going to enhance stigma or shame. There might be lots of name calling involved. If we're receiving what we consider emotional abuse, we may give emotional abuse back in retaliation. And afterwards, we don't feel good about it. Forgiving is not just for your loved one. Forgiveness is for you. We can also talk about being able to forgive ourselves. When we make impulsive decisions that we regret later, we can choose to hold on to these memories and beat ourselves up over it. And we can also take a critical look at the action that we wish that we did not do. We can accept our humanity, forgive ourselves, and commit to doing better. Again, forgiveness is a very tricky and delicate thing. Many people work these matters over with other people to help guide them through this process. If you're religious or spiritual, you may want to speak with a religious leader about this matter. Or if you meditate, you might want to look up a forgiveness meditation. You can also journal on the topic, or of course, talk to a trusted confidant to ease you through it. And you can always speak to a counselor. Trusted professionals are always just a call away. Regardless the history, regardless the intensity of emotion, forgiveness is possible. This is how we can support people in our lives who have substance use disorders. Thank you so much for staying with us as we continue to commemorate National Recovery Month by talking about how to support a person in your life who you know and love who has a substance use disorder or is in early recovery. If you liked what you saw here, please do click that like and subscribe and ring that bell so you can get notifications for other videos coming up in this series or in this channel in general. Please, of course, share this information, share this video with anyone that you think could benefit from it. We appreciate you here at New Jersey Recovery and Wellness. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time.